something that is now very much all over the media, and this is that everybody's talking about anti-Semitism in America. Wow, every place you open, everybody talks about it. Anti-Semitism in America. Well, yesterday, a couple of days ago, I gave a shiur about this, and there's no anti-Semitism. Could be hate crime is on the rise, but don't forget, proportionally, it's 0.00, I don't know what. It's on the rise compared to last year, which is a terrible thing. Nobody takes away from it. Terrible thing. But you have to put it in proportion. When you put in the media constantly and all over the news, there's anti-Semitism. So what it causes, it feeds the beast. Why? Because what terrorism in Israel is all about? They make one act of terrorism with the hope that it has an effect to scare the entire population. Same thing here. When you have such an act, so if you feed the beast, which means you show that you're scared, the entire Jewish population has to be scared now. On the media, you'll see everybody's scared now in Monsey to walk down the streets, and you have to have extra patrols and cops all over, and that feeds the beast. If anything, that feeds more hate crimes, because there's many people that do have such feeling against Jewish people, and as long as it's numb, how they call it, it's not active, so they don't go dormant. They don't go ahead and act on it. But you feed the beast. Of Miller one time said that it's wrong what they do, that constantly they come out with new studies how brutal the Germans were in Germany. Why is that? Because we think as Jews that if Goyim look and hear about it, they'll feel bad, they'll learn a lesson. And he said of Avigdor Miller, on the contrary, those that hate Am Yisrael get the idea from it. When they show constantly on the news in Israel how a Jew was attacked and stabbed and whatever it is, so all it does, it incites the rest of the Palestinians, and they feel that that's what they need to do. You're feeding the beast. And we need to understand, we live in America. America is so much not anti-Semite. We don't feel it. You don't hear anything about it. Some people sometimes experience something, but it's almost never. And you have to understand, there's 100 million evangelicals in America who love Israel, adore Israel. They love Israel unconditionally, which means if you don't like them, they still love Israel, and they love the Jewish people, and they say it out loud. And that's the reason President Trump was elected, because all of them said to President Trump, we'll elect you if you move the embassy from Tel Aviv to Yerushalayim, and if you support Israel. 80% of them voted for President Trump. 3/4 of the ones voted for President Trump. And we need to understand it's a great power, because 100 million, it's a third of the American population. It's a great power, and they love us. And this that we don't see it on the street, we don't see the opposite. So to go and take away something that we have a place that we live quietly, we live in peace. And to turn it into some kind of horror scene that constantly you have to feel that there's anti-Semite over here, and it's on the rise, and people hate us, and you walk down the street and you don't know where's the next attack is going to come, that is wrong. That is wrong, and it's wrong to show it constantly, put it on the news constantly, speak about it constantly. You open up a news site, always that's the first thing that they speak about. And there are certain things that happen, and it's true, but don't feed the beast. Do not do that. Don't do that. It's not the right thing to do. Remember that there's a huge amount of people. One time, somebody told me that number of evangelicals that love Am Yisrael. So I told him, what's the reason he's telling me that? What's the purpose? He said, sometimes it's good to feel that people love you also. And also it gives you a certain responsibility. You walk down the street. If you feel somebody hates you, you behave like that also. If you feel somebody looks up to you, they look up to us. Now, whether it's for the right reason or for the wrong reasons, I'm not going into that. But this is the society we live in. You walk down the street, a third of the society, according to those statistics, 100 million evangelicals in America adore Am Yisrael. And you walk down the street, you need to understand, you need to appreciate that you are considered somebody who's very, very important. So this, I think, should put in proportion where we live. We live in a place that this is not Europe over here. It's not Germany, it's not France, it's not the Middle East. Even in Israel, you don't feel that kind of love. From the Jews, if anything, if you have, right now there was an attack in Monsey. I don't know what it was, but the police over there said a couple of days ago it was not a hate crime. They came to a conclusion it wasn't a hate crime. Now, they know things that they're not saying yet. But the speaking in Monsey, if you talk to the people in Monsey, they're saying that actually came from a Jew. A Jew sent a couple of people to do what they did. And if you remember when President Trump was elected, there was many phone calls to schools and yeshivot threatening them. Who was it in the end? It was an Israeli in Israel that called up those schools, and eventually they arrested him. And at the same time, there was also vandalism in different cemeteries. In the end, they found one person that did all this vandalism. So we need to put things in proportion. We live in a place that's really comfortable, and you don't have to feel that there's a movement against you. If anything, it's coming, the movement is going down, and we see that we have such a president. We never had such a thing. According to Pew, they made a study, 79% of Republicans adore the Jewish state. They love the Jewish state. And when you have such a president that adores Am Yisrael and the Jews, you know what he said? When he moved the embassy, he said that the Jews were happy, but the evangelicals, he got from them much more feedback, and they were much happier when he moved that embassy. So we need to understand, and they do constant, when they speak, it's on the television, constant speeches pro-Israel. So this is where we live in. We live in such a society, we have to put things in proportion.